So now we get the pleasure of watching videos from last summer's 2 mission trips. And you will hear from all of our youth, along with youth from Heart of the Rockies Christian Church. We partnered with their congregation. And so you'll hear about our high school mission trip as well as our middle school mission trip.
Before this, I wasn't really very conscious about using non-plastic things, and whenever I would go to like the grocery store or the store, I would always use the plastic bags, and I wasn't really looking at like the packaging on the foods and stuff like that.
It was a lot more about learning about God's creation and seeing the beauty in it.
Everything we did this week was really just to bring awareness.
I want the Church Universal to know that these waters, that these issues about environment, that these are really our spirituality issues, and that these really are faith issues, and that how we approach these is not only a human problem, but a faith problem. That as Christians, we're called to help care for and to be stewards of the oceans and this nature that God has given us.
Not only is it yours, but you have to take care of it and protect it and nourish it.
Our earth is our sanctuary, you could say.
It's taking responsibility for understanding that this earth does not just belong to you. It can definitely be difficult to take options that would be better for the earth, but not necessarily better for yourself. But I think being a person on this earth, it is in some way people's duty in order to take those more difficult decisions in order to help the planet.
I think that when you live a life of faith, it's your responsibility to try to be as open and as caring to others as possible. So, you can build a community. The community at Harvard Christian Church was like super welcoming and super nice to us. And, and their generosity was it was really nice. So I really hope that like all Christians will be able to, and all people really will be able to make, connections like that with other people.
The waters are part of how we experience the living God.
We're talking about the similarities between the ocean and God. And what I had said was that as much as we like to think that we know, there's still so much that we don't know. And I've learned so much about the ocean, and I've learned so much more about God this week, and there's still so much to learn.
I think this week I saw God mostly in all the new living beings I was able to encounter on this trip. I think both people and animals especially, it's been really fun and interesting to see all different kinds of life forms and the way they work and the way they think, and it's truly been a blessing to be exposed to this many new experiences and new people, new animals.
Through all of the animals and sea creatures, I feel like I was just able to see God in each and every one of them. And I just loved how, peaceful, I guess they were, and how they were just kind of existing.
I saw God a lot in the joy and the laughter of everyone around me as we were playing in the water or riding the rides at Disneyland. Yeah.
I saw God show up in all the people on the mission trip with us that were so willing to help with picking up trash, and with all the people around us that were so grateful for what we did. It felt really good to, even though it was a small action, to be part of something.
Especially on the beach day, that was a huge eye-opening experience, cleaning up 14 pounds of trash that we were able to pick up in just an hour or so. That's 14 pounds of trash that other people don't have to pick up. And just like seeing how much plastic there was, and then also seeing how much, I guess, people don't really think about it, because I didn't really think about my plastic use. So I think this past week, God has been I guess teaching me to be more conscious of our planet.
Everyone has an impact on the ocean, even if they don't realize it. Because I feel like that sometimes it's easy to forget. When we lived in a landlocked state, Colorado, we kind of forget about the ocean, but we still have an impact in some way.
One of the things we learned about were watersheds, and how when the rain lands, even in Colorado, it eventually will end up in the ocean. So how we treat it is incredibly important.
Hope that people will learn that even doing small things can help in the long run, and you should try to do everything you can, even if it's not like a big thing that you think will help in a massive way.
So that future generations can enjoy it just as we have.
When we have this beautiful nature that God created, that we are co-creators with that, and that we ought to care for it too.
That was our high school youth on the mission trip in Southern California, learning about the ocean and creation care. I just want to check with AV, can you keep going so we can watch our middle schoolers too? All right, so our middle schoolers went up to Laramie, Wyoming. We stayed at a UCC church, and we worked at 3 very different organizations, and the youth are talking about where they experienced God and what they learned from the experience.
We were cleaning up, we were gonna done. Keep the Lord's Prayer with us. Yeah, TJ is one of the people in the world that are just like a God wink in Lexi's words. A God wink.
The horses were so cool because you could just talk to them.
The horses was really cool because I already knew a lot about horses, but it was pretty cool to learn about the special needs ones because I wasn't used to the type of care that they would need and how they would act instead of normal horses, which I found that really interesting.
I saw God when we got to groom the horses because they were just so they were these big gentle giants and they were just so peaceful and sweet.
I guess everywhere on Monday. It was really one of my first mission experiences. There's a time when it was just downpour and we were sitting inside of the barn and you could just hear it hanging off the tin roof, and I just thought, man, this is really just in your element. This is where you find God, which is in nature. Well, really all places, but that's where I really felt it that day.
To the Pullman Cottage. So the cottage basically was just we take in donations and we give them to people at a very, very reduced price. They're free to people who can't have it. This where we at was run by these 6 old ladies, and one of them just came up to us and was here, I have this stuff, I'm gonna help you guys. And it was just so nice how willing she was to work with us and be a team. It was great. And their faces were just so happy once we got it all cleaned up.
And we met TJ.
I guess meeting with TJ, of course, was always a fun and interesting thing to do.
I saw God in this guy that we met there named TJ. I don't know what it was about him, but he was so nice. He was just so kind, such a good person.
Even today, helping at the soup kitchen was, I guess, a highlight, and really service as a whole has been something I didn't really do before, but I feel I really want to do more of now.
It's a food bank, except they grow their own food and they just give it to the community for free. And then they have a bunch of other community members who cook food, give out lunches, and do all that.
I hope that I kind of continue to be more aware of like my community and like the opportunities I have to serve my community.
I hope that I can like reach more people. Like I can like be a little bit more like powerful when I'm helping people. And like I hope that like with my presence brings joy and hope and empowerment.
I hope I'll just have like a different like way about things.
I have a lot more confidence just talking to people now.
Always be open to try new things. You can say that you're willing, but I feel like I wasn't willing first on this trip to go out there. But when I got there, I guess felt in the moment, and it really changed my mind. So just keeping an open mind to everything is probably the best lesson I would take from this week.
Even if it's not like a big volunteer project like we did, you can like totally impact someone's life even if it doesn't feel like it.
Sometimes it's the smallest things that act the biggest.
If you're young and you're gonna have a child that is in middle school soon, send them on a mission trip. It might be a little crabby at first, but I promise everything is great. It is amazing, it's life-changing. Oh yeah, I think it's a little crabby. Okay.